It's a really nice day out, so I wanted to try and make a video outside, and now I'm out here, and the neighbor started cutting his grass, so we'll see if it comes through okay for the audio. What I wanted to talk about was the idea of paying the price. No matter what we do in life, it's going to come at the cost of something. We are always paying the price for something. That cost is either going to be trading who we are for who we could be, or who we could be for who we are. And I made the mistake for a long time of trading who I could be for who I was, and I was really miserable, obese, played video games several hours a day, ate junk food. It was just not a fun time in my life. It was a living embodiment of hell for me. And because of that, I wasn't progressing towards anything. I wasn't accomplishing anything. I was just doing the bare minimum of what I needed to do to keep that going. And it was a life that wasn't worth living. And so I started to make necessary sacrifices to get myself back on track, especially physically, and lost a lot of weight and got myself on track there. And I'm still working on it, trying to get myself on track in other areas. It's funny because we all kind of start out with an infinite number of possible selves in life. And as we get older, that number really dramatically starts to decrease. And it decreases naturally sometimes just because of our different interests in life. Then now you're going to do things that are more in line with those interests. You're not going to do other things that you have no interest in. And we have to start deciding who we're going to be. I think one of the main issues is, and this is part of the boat I was falling into, is that if you don't decide what you're going to do, then those decisions still shrink, or the possibilities still shrink, I should say, because some of them are time sensitive based on how young you are and how fit you could be at a certain time, or just other variables. And so you slowly lose the possibilities over time. So I kind of look at it as like trying to pick a doorway that you have to go through. And you pick a doorway. And while you're going through that, you give up the possibility of going through the other doorways of possible selves you could have been. The nice thing about that is at the other end of there, you expand the possibilities of going through that doorway of now who you could be from there that wouldn't have been available to you if you stayed on the other side and refused to make a decision. Setting a worthwhile goal is obviously better than living with short-lived hedonistic activities. That's one thing I did wrong for a bit of time with playing video games, which hijacked my dopamine receptors, and then you're wasting time on these virtual worlds, accomplishing nothing in life, accomplishing nothing of value, and time's just passing you by. And guess what can happen? They can decide to shut those servers off. Now all that time and accomplishments that you made in that video game are gone. They could be gone forever. And you wasted a lot of time doing that. What was the point? We're goal-driven beings. Even when they set up video games. They put little goals in there for you to accomplish. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fun. There would be no interest in it if there wasn't even a challenge on these virtual worlds. So we need to set goals for ourselves in the real world. No one's going to set these goals for us. You could have people, family, that try to talk you into doing certain things, that's true, and hopefully if they want good things for you and you're not making a decision, they will help you, but ultimately we need to decide for ourselves who we want to be, where we want to go. And we need to start taking the necessary steps towards those goals. It's usually going to be better for us to set smaller, more realistic goals, at least especially in the beginning, so that we can hit them and start to move on to the next thing. Because if we try to make one giant Herculean effort towards changing our lives, then we will very easily slip back into our old ways, especially because we're not that far off from them. You're not going to notice much change in 1 day or 2 days of trying to do something. It's the progressive effort over a much longer period of time where you're going to start to notice changes in your life, things getting better, things getting easier, you getting smarter, and all of those things put together, creating a better version of you. These goals need to be towards something that's going to make the suffering worthwhile. If you want to look a certain way, then you're going to have to control your eating habits. You're going to have to decide whether you do cardio or whether you lift weights. And it's going to take time to shape yourself into something that you want to look like. Sometimes it's going to help to write down your goals, to create a clear vision of what you want and where you want to go, and keep track of your progress towards those goals. This will not only help keep you on track, but it will help you during the days when things are harder than usual. You can look back on that and see your progress, and that will help keep you motivated to keep pushing towards those goals and not to give up. It's kind of funny, going right along with the goal theory is the idea of sin, and the root term kind of comes from the Greek archery term hamartia, meaning to miss the mark. And if you listen to Jordan Peterson, then you know what I'm talking about. But the surest way to miss the mark is to not take aim and not try. So we have to at least take aim. We have to at least try. We figure out what our goals are in life, and then we start to orient our environment around us towards the completion and attainment of those goals, so that we can have this fulfillment in our life and have success and get to a point where we're happy with ourselves and happy with our life. Putting in the necessary sacrifices and effort sure beats the alternative. Well, that's about all I have to say on that subject for now. I'll link the article I wrote about it in the description below, and there's also more articles on my website that I've written that you might like. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.